Guys, anytime you're discussing the fundamentals and some of the basics of wrestling, make sure you don't hear that the wrong way. Okay, let me make sure, let's stand down for just a second so we understand what the fundamentals and the basics are. First off, that means the most common stuff. The stuff, hey, I must know that. If I'm going to go into wrestling, these are some basics and these are simples. The other side of that coin, and here's where it always gets confusing, the basics is what wins championships. When you start to look at the state finals, the national finals, the world finals, or the Olympic gold medal match, it's the basics that are going to win the championship. Everything else is fun and flair. And it's a good way to sell tickets and get people to come back and keep them excited and show new stuff and grow repertoires. But it's the basics that win. So don't ever hear that you're learning the basics and miss the fact that you're learning what actually works when the going gets tough. Very basic position in wrestling is called a cradle. All that a cradle is, if Austin is to step this leg up, all that a cradle is going to be is I'm going to lock his head and his knee and then bring them together by grasping my hands right here, okay? That's all a cradle is. It's one of the most effective positions in wrestling. My hands in this position are stronger than his body and his leg. In this position, when I bring his head and knee together, it makes him weak. His cradle works on, that's what we call a far side cradle. If Austin was to bring this knee up, I could do the same thing by just putting my head right into his rib cage. That is what's called a near side cradle. Now that you understand the basics, there's also some ways to set this up. Okay, there's also some ways. It can be very difficult at times unless he puts himself in bad position. And that's going to happen every match regardless of how good your opponent is. Every single match at multiple points, he will put himself in bad position. He's then gambling and betting on the fact that you don't react to it and catch him in time. That's a large part of the game that we're playing. But if Austin is to bring this leg up, that's my first clue that I now have an opportunity for a cradle. But I've still got to get my hands locked, okay? If I'm real strong, if I spring on it, maybe I can just do that from right here. But maybe not. Maybe I do everything right and he doesn't budge and I can't get my hands locked. So now I can start to ease my way into this. I can come up top and start to look for a crossface. This now makes him a little bit weaker. I just took one of his posts away. Now all of a sudden I'm a little bit stronger and I can start to bring this gap closer. The closer I can get his head to his knee, the easier it is for me to secure a cradle. Well, that's a great way to cheat this area, is to come in with this crossface right here, to start to turn his head. Anytime you turn an opponent's head in any position, you start to take his power away. I start to cheat that and bring that a little closer to his knee. Now I come in and secure it. Once my hands are locked, I am likely to stay in this position until I choose to let it go. Scoring from this position is another conversation. So once my hands become locked, now I need to get my own legs out of the way. Right now my feet are in my own way. So I need to start to bring Austin back. This knee can be in my way. So now I need to scoot that knee back. I'm looking to bring it into his ribs. I'm looking to make it uncomfortable and push so nothing's in the way. Now my temple is the final step. I want my forehead looking right at the side of his head. Right here. That's the final step to the cradle. So one more time for you to look at that. And again, this is called a far side cradle, meaning I'm on this side of his body, but he steps up with his far leg. So as soon as I see this leg come up, there's my clue. If I don't think I can quite bring everything together, just start with one right here. Now I've turned his head. As soon as I turn his head, he's weak. Now he's a little uncomfortable. I start to bring it to this side. He thinks he's safe because he forgot his knees right there. Boom, my hands are locked and I get everything out of the way, including my knee to his ribs, my forehead to his temple. I can start to score not only back points, but ultimately look for the fall.